Cool. So, Shaun, back to you for what you have seen recently.
Okay, well, I watched, which was really quick going. It was one of those short episodes. I watched Man vs. Bee, Rowan
Man versus
Atkinson.
Bee.
Again, again on Netflix. They're about 10 minutes, these episodes. I think there's 8 of them.
Yep.
And basically, it starts off where Rowan Atkinson's in court and saying, oh, anyway. And then it goes on to tell the whole story. And basically, what Rowan Atkinson, he becomes a house sitter. So he's a house sitter for this super, super rich
couple.
The place is fabulous. It's like all high tech and
it's like one of those houses at the end of Grand Designs.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's a bit like John Wick's house, but multiply that by 10. Anyway, so it's got like all the security features. So he's really, really nice. He's just they could go through all the things. Oh yeah, this is the number for this if you want to get locked out, but you can voice activate it. If you forget the number, you can voice activate it, so you can imagine what's going to happen. And then anyway, so he's there and he's all settled down and that he's got himself some food out, and this little bee comes along. So, and each of the episodes, it's obviously him trying to catch the bee. He starts off being trying to be quite gentle, like we're catching it in a cup and trying to take it out, and obviously gets locked out and stuff and this whole thing. And well, I can't really say too much about each episode without giving away spoilers, but so basically it just escalates. You know what I mean? He tries different ways to do it. And so you can imagine there's all sorts of things going on with things getting
I mean, the thing with this show, right, is that when I heard the title Man vs. Bee, it sounded like the perfect marriage between Mr. Bean and one particular episode of Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
where in Breaking Bad, like, what's his name? I forgot his name now. Walter White. Walter White gets obsessed with getting rid of this fly that's contaminated his area, and it just escalates and escalates. But that's dramatic. But when I hear that, I think if you put Mr. Bean in that situation, that's probably what this show is going to be. And we actually started watching this. We're about halfway through the first episode, and my wife Claudia got to the point where she went, No, I can't watch it. It's all gonna go wrong. It's all gonna go wrong. It's too cringe. It's too cringe. And she couldn't handle it, so she just stopped watching it. But but I can imagine it escalates. There's gonna be a lot of slapstick, and I can imagine that by the end of all these episodes, the house, shall we say, will not be in the same situation in which he found it.
Yes, basically, yes. It's like but then I'd love to give a spoiler, but I can't really. It's just like, so you can imagine, like you get these heist movies where they're going after particular things, like particular paintings and particular ornaments and things, and so you can imagine that, like, if someone needs a particular, like, is that what we've got to get? doesn't look like there's nothing like the pictures. And there's, like you said, well, I mean, you can obviously understand what's going to happen, but there's one bit that I was in absolute hysterics because it reminded me of an actual real situation that I remember was in, and the expression was on this chap's face that broke this thing was just the same as his face, like, do you know what I mean?
I know,
especially when they've been told, especially when someone's been told, that's worth
that's really expensive.
That's really expensive. That's really, you just know what's going to happen,
happening.
And it's just like the face. What do I do? So and I quite sympathise with that, and I also think that some of the things he tries to do is not too silly. It's like fixing things. If you're going to fix things, you've got you hope you're going to do it right. So and it was really good. It's great that the episodes are so short, and you could probably watch it all in one sitting. And it is it's quite a good fun thing.
Yeah, because whenever you try and do something like this that's a bit slapstick, it can go really well or can go really badly. It all depends on the performance and the performers and how they do it. And obviously, this is Rowan Atkinson, who is probably one of the few people in the world who I think can pull off this concept, who can pull off Man versus Bee. Yeah. I think he's one of the few people in the world who can do it. But how did he do? How many stars would you give it?
I'd give this one a 4 because I really enjoyed it. And as I say, it's you can watch it in one sitting. And it is quite fun, and I did have some laugh-out moments, which is quite unusual for me in my normal critical head on, of like.
Yeah, I know, Shaun. This is the thing. Like, when you said that, I'm like, actually, Forget watching Man versus Bee. I want to be in a room and watch you watching Man versus Bee to to see your reaction to these moments. I want to see this.
Yeah. So this you know, yeah, it's a good watch. It's a good fun watch. And as I say, I did laugh. I did actually laugh out quite loud in a couple of places. And what I mean is, oh, like they're over exaggerated, but there are situations where that type of thing could possibly happen in real life. If you know what I mean, it's plausible. It's not beyond the realms of silliness.
I mean, the setup for this show reminds me of. Did you ever see a show? I mean, you must have seen this show. But it was a 70s, 80s show called Some Others Do Have Them.
Some others do have them, yeah.
Some Others Do Have Them with Frank Spencer. And
Betty.
Ooh, Betty! and there was one episode he has where they go to this house of the future. And they're showing off this house of the future. And the final scene of this episode is him driving away and the house is on fire. Everything is malfunctioning because Frank Spencer was just this accident prone person where everything that he did fell apart. And I always sympathize with Frank Spencer because when I was a kid, my mom used to call me Frank Spencer because she was like, you just break everything. It just goes. So when you have like something slapstick where you have somebody that just can't catch a break and things just keep going wrong around them, I'm like, yeah. I might not even be laughing. I might just be identifying hard. So Man versus Bee is something that I think I will